Good man. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to have a really powerful conversation. We want to speak to the hearts of our people and make sure we get to deal with some grassroots level issues that has such a big impact. I think probably one of the biggest impacts in our communities, negative impacts. And then deal on how we can change it and make it positive. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have this conversation. Happy to be part of it.
Of course.
A catalyst for change. And today we have with us...
Before we introduce our guest today, today the conversation is really based on the elements of, I believe this is where everything starts. I believe this is where it all begins. And if you get this wrong, that's where we end up where we are today. And so on the issue of fatherhood, ladies and gentlemen, this morning we have a guest in studio, Mr. Charley Pietersen. And I think let's welcome Mr. Charley Pietersen out to the show. Sir, thank you so much for coming out this morning.
Thank you, Pastor. It's so nice to be interviewed by a young, dynamic, upcoming pastor, powerful man. I've listened to one of your sermons, when your father invited me to church. Very powerful, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir.
Pastor Xavier.
So you've been in the space of writing books. You've been an author. You've also been in the political space. You've been all over. You well versed with the climate in what's going on in South Africa and the context of different elements in and around South Africa. But today there's a particular direction we're taking on the conversation. We can go from the book you've written to that's a brain and myself. That's a different conversation altogether. Maybe we should have that conversation at some point in the future. But today we're speaking about a very specific book that you've also written. I don't know, maybe do you want to just jump into that a little bit?
Yeah, look, Dr. Pietersen.
Yes, sir.
I admire your work. Like I say, I think I want to start the conversation from there because, like you mentioned, Xavier, this is such a conversation that is close to every household, every brown child's heart. Even though you may not have experienced it personally, but you've seen the impact of it close to you. And that's why it has to hit home.
Yes.
It has to draw not just emotion, but the spiritual side of you as well. So thank you for joining us again.
Thank you, Larry.
I want to maybe get into the conversation of, what opened your eyes to the depth of fatherlessness in our communities.
Thank you so much, Larry. I also need to say something about you. I saw you breaking the barriers on national television, and I'm very proud of you because we need voices. There are voices already in our country talking about our people, but we need young, dynamic people, coming forward. I really appreciate it, Larry. What happened with me? It was on a Father's Day, the specific. I think it was in 2015. It was on a Father's Day in church, and I was sitting in church with my family and with my kids. And you know what the church is doing? The church will always tell you, today is Father's Day. We need to honor fathers. While I was sitting there, my children are very excited to honor me, but I thought to myself, amen, I grew up without a father. And we never had something like this in a church where the church is honoring the fatherless, like us. No pastor or no predicant or dominee has just called on a Sunday, on a Father's Day, said, all the fatherless kids, can you please come up? And while I was sitting there, the idea came, and it's like the Lord said, then you need to be the voice of the voiceless, the fatherless. So I was very disturbed that Sunday and full of tears. And when I came back, I said, Domin, I need to write a book. But it needs to speak to me because I grew up without a father. I was raised by a single mother who was a domestic worker. My mother never went far at school, but one thing that my mother taught me was to read, to love books. At the age of 5, I was already reading and understanding.
Where is this, in Joburg?
No, I'm a Free Stater. Born and raised in the Free State, a small town in the Free State, Smithfield, and all my upbringing was in Bloemfontein. My varsity, everything was in Bloemfontein. But while I was sitting in this community, I thought to myself, of my mother, reading, asking her, looking at pictures and asking her, what is that guy saying? What is this character saying? Because that time, it's long before you guys was the likes of Richtersveld. That's the books. I think your fathers will know it. Ben, Richtersveld, die Leipert and all those things. And I started to love reading from seeing pictures. And that's why it's so important that readers are leaders. It is very, very important. And it's so important that our parents must try and really encourage our kids to read. You know, if you can ask a matriculant now to read a book for you, it's going to be a big, big problem.
It's scary, yeah. It's
Yeah,
scary.
they can't read.
It's scary.
It's scary. So it started there. So while I was sitting there, saying, I need to start tackling this issue of fatherlessness. So I started off my research and everything, and I really found out, and especially in the colored community, that, you know, when I closed my eyes, I said, hey, but David also never had a father. Thabo also never had a father. So I picked up that it was actually normal to grow up without a father until you are challenged. When you get to school now and they said, tell us about your father. Now you're sitting, hey, what do I say? Because I never had that one.
Did you know him?
My mother told me when I grew up about him, but I never met him.
You never met him?
No, I met him at the age of 21.
Oh.
When I finished, I said, no, I need to find out, because we're sitting with a lot of identity issues, guys, where you need to understand, who are you? Am I acting as a Pietersen? But if you actually look, Pietersen is my mother's surname. So whose blood is flowing through my veins? As jy kop uitruk, nee, partymal raak die kinders se koppe uit. Dan weet jy nie, is dit van 'n Merwe se kop uitruk of is dit 'n Jansen se kop uitruk? So you need to understand the root. Where does it come from?
So what's your father's surname?
Charlson.
Charlson.
Charley Charlson, and his name was also Charley. And I've decided there's no way that I'm going to take his surname. Because the surname does not mean anything to me. The Pietersens raised me, so I'm a Pietersen. I'm taking my mother's surname. So when I met him at the age of 21, he never also recognized me, guys. So I said,
he didn't know it was
hey, bro. I asked my friend, I said, Godfrey, let's go look up for my father. I heard that he stay in Batuli.
Where's Batuli? In Vrystaat was.
Vrystaat also.
So he wasn't even far.
Bro, 31 Ks, I think, Pastor, from me. I thought to myself, 31 Ks. I can jog 31 Ks if your heart or your love for your child. Said, no, man, let's go. So I finished with matric and everything. We get into the bus. So we arrived in Batuli. So we asked the people, hey, waar bly Charley? And everyone knows him. Hey, Charley, baby, I is.
So you didn't even know where you were going?
No,
exactly.
my brother.
You were just trying to figure out as you
I have to by that time, because this thing was troubling me as a child. That's why we find a lot of our children are disjointed. You know, getting involved with drugs, because if a drug lord tell him, hey boy, you are part of us, and they show him warmth, he will join. He
feels
so,
accepted.
Yeah, he feels accepted.
Yeah, I want to ask, because this is an experience that you've had. I mean, you are probably, past a half-century mark.
Yes.
But I wanted to hear what happens when he met his father.
That's what I want to ask.
Oh, you going there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like when you meet your father, I'm sure many people have these type of questions.
Yeah.
When you meet your father, what kind of questions? I mean, this is at the age of 21.
Yeah.
You're a man already, What kind of questions do you have with your father? Is there some form, or is it a lost cause when you meet your father at 21 after you know that now this guy was 31 kilometers away from me? He could have maybe made an effort. What goes through a person's mind, and how do you sort of, face that moment when it happens? Yeah.
So Larry with me was like,
wait, I want you to answer that question, but to carry on from where you were asking the people, where does he stay?
I'll get there. You'll guide me, Pastor, because I need to address that one. So I said to myself, no, man, I need to find out, who am I? Who is this guy that fathered me, that left me alone with my mother and everything and never took responsibility? And the question was, I hate this guy. That's all. Most of the kids will tell you, I hate my father. And which is one of the most dangerous things to do, because, you attract what you hate also. If you go to the book of Job, Job was always, sorry guys, worried about his children until it happened to him. So even, I always tell people, don't say, I don't want to be like my father. Because if you look at the subconscious mind and the mind, you'll attract that.
You end up being exactly.
Exactly. So leave what does not belong to you and find your own identity. So I had that gap in my heart, Larry, and said, no, man, I'm moving on. I was even telling my mother, I said, OC, you raised me. So there's no way that I'm now going to change and start taking care of somebody that never raised me or being part of my life. I just want to see the guy and find peace, because I was looking for that peace.
There, yeah.
I was restless.
Does it bring peace?
Yes. At the end.
So you get now there?
Oh, I get there. We ask and everything. So they showed us the house. Hey, there's Brother Charley's house. Godfrey and myself, we went and knocked, and I said to Godfrey, Koda, we need to play this thing out.
Who's that, your friend?
My friend. Actually, my brother's friend, but he's staying in as a big brother for me, because my own brother didn't want to come. So I said to him, Koda, now we need to play our role now. Don't tell this guy
Who we are.
We just need to play around it, because at least God gave me the ability to think, and everything. So when we arrive there, we knock.
Your brother is the same father?
No, not the same father. His father, and you know what, very interesting, his father is also in Batuli, the same town. It looks like this Batuli was a factory where they send men out and go make children in other small towns and everything. And when we arrived there, we knocked and the guy opened. Hey. And as a child, you grew up and saying that, you've got this picture of your father. Yeah, he's a Superman, he's going to stand there with Superman clothes and everything. You create that image of a father.
In your mind, yeah.
So when the guy opened the door, I said, no, man, the guy is fragile and everything. I said, no, man, I don't want this guy in my life. That's me now. I just want to know who he is. And God, after this, we run. We're not looking back. So, Kerels, Vizjela. I said, no, man, we're coming from...
So it was him that opened?
Yes. We've done was the research and everything. We asked people how he looks and everything. They explain.
So it wasn't someone else that opened it?
No, it's his house. Yeah. So when he opened the door, there was this gentleman standing, and Koda started to talk. Also from Charley, not me. Ja, say ek, wie's julle? No, we're from Smithfield. You know Smithfield? Yeah, I know Smithfield. I used to stay there. Okay. He let us in, and inside... So
he let you in?
Yeah, he let us in, yeah. And inside there was a voice of a lady screaming, yeah, Smithfield. Hey, I the kind in Smithfield. Now it looks like this the wife
new
now.
Wife now.
The new wife. Okay. So we know that it is here now.
Sy sê so lank het 'n kind en
ja, het 'n kind.
Sy weet die kind.
Ja, hy weet nie.
Hy weet ook nie.
No, hy weet ook nie. And luckily now we said, we know now this is the right house. That is the right person and everything. So we started to chat. Charlie, ken jy vir Didi? Because Didi was my mother's name. Yeah, Didi. Yeah, there was a girlfriend wat 'n kind mee het. So he's not talking, she's answering.
So the wife knows the story.
She knows the story. Yeah, and Didi was a baie mooi vrou. I said, okay, my mother. And later now we said, no, man, Charlie, we have to go because the bus is going to leave in an hour's time. So Charlie, nee, man, let's close the gap quickly. Een van ons is Didi se kinders. Wie dink jy wie is dit? Look.
So you're sitting on the couch now in his lounge?
Yes.
And
sitting
you just say that to him?
Yeah, bro. That's part of the business. I'm not here to play. Yeah. And in my heart, before I talked, the Lord said, now you've got a choice. Are you going to hate this guy forever, or are you going to forgive this guy and move on? So I'm battling in my head. He's chatting to Godfrey and everything. Da. You don't even know which one is his son.
But you all don't look the same.
We do. There's some resemblance. Ne? There's some resemblance. But I've got more on my mother's side than him. So we said, no, let's help you. I'm Didi's son that you left. 2 questions. Why did you leave my mother? Second question. How many of us, 3 questions, and how many of us have you fathered all along the way. And the third one, if you have to die, who do you think who will bury you? First question is having excuses about my uncles and everything. That's why he ran away. He was scared of my uncles. They were bullying and everything. Okay? Secondly, how many of us are there? So there's a few of you guys that I fathered outside.
Like los kinders.
Ja, sy los kinders. Ek sê nee, ek weet van een wat hulle altyd vir ons gesê, there's a girl, and my mother always said, guys, you don't mess with that girl. They don't tell us. When you grew up, don't go there. For me and my brother. Ja, nee.
Too jolly with your sister.
Maar you could see, you know, when you grew up with this girl, man, there's something. Okay? En die derde ene, wie denk jy, as jy nou moet doodgaan, wie gaan jou begrawe? He said, no, man, you, Charlie. I said, hey, you don't even know me. What do you mean? Now, you're the only one of all my kids that came up and look me up. So the others never came. So you're the only one. So you know that I exist. So you won't leave me to die and everything. And I said,
and you have the same name also?
Yes, Charley. And there, the decision was, gentlemen, am I forgiving this guy or did I move on? And I said to myself, you know, forgiveness is so key. And forgiveness, if you don't forgive this guy, if he has to die and you have to die, where are you going to open your eyes? So I said, no, I'm releasing him. I'm forgiving him. And I promise you guys, when he passed away, I was the one burying him.
But where's the lady in the back now?
Yeah, now she understands. She became quiet now.
So what, she came into the lounge?
She was sick. She was in bed.
Oh,
so she was listening to the whole conversation.
There.
Ja, ek het soms gesê Didi se kind. Didi. Jou kind. So it ends there. And I buried both of them.
When did he pass away?
Yo, when my first 2000 when was Aisha born? 2001. And we reconciled. I tried to help him. I tried to bring him in now to Bloem, to a house because his wife passed away and he was alone, staying alone. And he called me one day. He said, Charlie, hey. He was only 3 days at my house. He said, Charlie, hey, man, I have to go back. I can't stay here. Yeah, I can't drink my drinks like I used to be or everything. Everything is structured in your house. And also the guys miss me that side. I said, no, I understand because there's nothing that I can do. This is the life that you chose that time and this is my life. But my door is open and God knows I reached out to you and I helped you. And I helped him, you know, until he passed away.
So you brought that relationship together.
Yeah. So,
but how do you think that affected you moving forward? The fact that you decided to forgive and to...
I felt lighter, Pastor. I felt lighter because, you know, I later become now the author of the book Growing Up Without a Father, and I later become a life coach. You know, I'm the life coach to Bernard Parker also. And Bernard Parker's father was also absent present actually in his life. So a lot of people that I help, you know, I helped one guy who was really hysterical about meeting his father. He said, you know, my father passed away and every year I go to his gravesite. I said, okay, to do what? He said, no, to swear at him. I said, no, man. Because of the anger and the pain. Guys, it's hard to grow up without a father. It's not easy. And a lot of kids, boys and girls, others make it and others don't make it. But the most important thing is to find your purpose, to understand who you are. And I think with me, positive role models came along my way. Politicians, you know, the owner of Bloem Celtics, the soccer team, he became like a father to me. He took me, you know, when I was 21. So he started to guide me, politicians like Terra Lekota, them and all those guys. So I started to navigate, and I always said, you know, if you look at the history of Jesus Christ, Jesus also didn't have a biological father. When he grew up, Joseph was not his father. So Jesus chose the way of righteousness, doing the right thing. So I always tell fatherless kids that find your purpose. There is greatness in you. And there's an extra grace upon your life that Jesus had, that's been poured on us who grew up without fathers. I met everyone. I met all the presidents. Because I always spoke to myself and I said, I'm going to speak life into my situation. I'm not going to stay in this small town, you know, live in poverty like all my other friends and family and my family and everything. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to be somebody that people will look up to me. And I never knew that God has destined this way with the foundation and everything, so that I can help the helpless and the fatherless to reach out, to themselves and to God.
There's a question I want to ask.
Yes, sir.
In terms of, because your father was there, your mother raised you, and it happens in many different areas as well. Does a mother obviously does her best, but does a mother ever fulfill that role of a father? Is it possible that a child grows up without a father, whether the father died, or whether he was just not there, whatever the case may be? It's just these kids grew up without a father. Bottom line, does a mother? Is it possible for that role to be filled by a mother?
Larry, no. A mother.
I just want to say this because I think a lot of people feel and they say, if he was alive or dead, or maybe they console themselves with the fact that my mother's there, she tried her best, but that role of a father, can it ever be filled by someone other than a father or a man?
Larry, let's start by the mother. Let's start by the mother. The mother cannot be a father also. Mothers are there to nurture, care and everything, and fathers are there to give direction. So she can't fulfill both roles. But what I picked up in my life, God have sent fathers along my way. Because there was a time that I was crying before the Lord about growing up without a father. I said, but can you remember, I sent you Uncle Joe one day when you were playing, and Uncle Joe said, job well done. I sent you Pete. I sent you this one. So somebody can stand in the gap to close that role of a father. But it's not easy because we always yearn for that biological father, that brute. But when the brute is not there, just carry on and also, trust God and move on. So, Larry, a mother cannot be a father. Yes.
But you mentioned something interesting. You say a mother can't be a father. God sends other people to help you along the way. But would you say even Uncle Joe that says, well done, there's still that gap, like, okay, Uncle Joe said, well done, and I feel like, hey, at least, that's always taking me like a lighty. Is there still that gap of, I see me pan him? Or do you think that helps?
Pastor Xavier, is that it all depends spiritually also, how matured are you? Because, colored people, brown people, are so stubborn, raga and rakon stubborn. To say, I see me pa, because what you tell yourself is what's actually come upon yourself. So Uncle Joe, to me that time, I saw Norman, he played his role. Mulimela played his role. Lekota played his role. This one played their roles in my life. That's why I honor a lot of men. You'll see with our foundation, we have that awards where we honor fathers, where we honor men that stood in the gap, where we also honor stepfathers that are coming in the gap.
That was my next question, actually.
Yes.
A stepfather, I know cases, many cases. We in the church, so we deal with a lot of cases. There's stepfathers that stood in a gap, to the point where that lady didn't know this is not his father.
Yes.
He didn't know. I know a particular case where this guy met the woman with a lady when the lady was a couple of months old. And he married the mother, and he raised this lady to the point where that lady thought his whole life, this is my father. He didn't know, he didn't guess, he didn't second guess. That's how treated him like his real lady. He gave him hidings like his lady.
Everything.
He treated him like he treated the other children. To the point where the other children didn't even know. Like the children that came out.
This is
not, we don't have the same father. They thought the whole time, this is our mother and this is our father. Because they grew up in that
environment and setting.
This is our parents.
Yeah.
And the lady at the age of, I think, around 19, 20 or something like that, I might be wrong, when I think the auntie or somebody mentioned something to say that, hey, this is
I feel months
this is not your real father, wow. Then when I came home to say that, now what? I'm a bit confused now, what's happening here now? Then the mother now had to explain to him to say, hey, look here,
that's what happened.
Daddy came into our lives when you were so and so, you were a couple of months. and it's your father. He took you from zero to up until now. He went to all your things. He went with you to your school. He fed you. He covered all the bases for you.
I salute that
You can't
father.
say he's not your father. Yeah, but why is Auntie so-and-so saying this is not my real
But
father?
you see the division now that's coming
You see
in.
now.
Yeah,
And then that light ended up on drugs.
that's the pain.
And
Yeah.
he recovered now recently. He ended up on drugs.
Yeah.
He ended up going completely the wrong way
Yeah.
after he found that out.
Yo,
And then
the power of the tongue, the
yeah,
seed that
and
was
then,
planted.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then now recently he got saved again, and he now understands to say, okay, right, in as much as this is not my biological
Father, yeah.
this since couple of months,
Yo,
I mean, how can I say it's not my father? This wasn't here from day one till
yeah.
now. And he still didn't turn around with that mindset to say, hey man, can you light it? Ek het hom goed gemaak. Nee, he continued to
Hey, I honor
guard
that
us
father.
lightly like it is
yeah.
lighty.
Yeah. But you see what is key, I always tell parents is that tell us from the beginning the issue. Because these things will turn against you. Or mothers that are keeping their kids away from their fathers. You know, because of the fight that they had with the father or the family of the father.
What do you suggest a better thing to do?
Immediately tell the child.
When the light is more or less to be able to understand.
You'll be surprised that the spirit of any one of us matured at the age of 3, 4, 5 years. Start telling the child, you know, daddy is not your real father, but he's standing in and he's there, and that is your father. Don't hide also to us who is the father. If he's that gangster, tell your child. We need to be open because these things backfire. Now that boy turned into what he became because he felt norm and rejected.
They lied to me.
They lied to me. I'm not, everything down. Forgetting all the great things that the stepfather did for him. So you only remember, like they said, you are as good as your last game. What that auntie Metafailmond has said, has broke that light is everything. Let's be honest to our kids and to ourselves.
So I know a situation where that happened, where the mother told the lighty at a young age that this, your real father stays there and he looks like this. And because the lighty could start also seeing them and I don't look.
Yeah, so was
like
the honors,
like
yeah.
Uncle, man. I'm a bit different. So the mother explained to him, no. This is your original, your real father, but also this is the guy that raised you from day one.
Yeah.
So and then that lighty, he doesn't even consider that other uncle. Like he's like, nah, I know that's my biological father, but
here is the
I
man.
didn't have nothing to do with it.
I want to ask
Honesty.
I want to ask you.
Yes, Lee.
Dive a bit more deeper into the conversation. Is how do you link the absent father with the broken identity in children?
You know, as a child growing up, you observe and see a lot of things happening to you. Why is it like this ones are having this and I don't have this and everything? And later maybe you become part of a gang or everything where they provide certain things for you, but you need to do a certain service for them. You must go break in there. Because I saw something where they start stealing now husbands and everything for nyaup and everything. So that brokenness, and don't forget, all of us grew up with the little man and the little girl inside of us. So there's a stage, at a certain stage, that's why you'll always find broken marriages, Larry, that a broken man will attract a broken lady. And they come together and they think, together they can be successful and whole. But if you haven't dealt with your brokenness, it's gonna catch up with you. Yes, because you have to face the little Charley and the little Larry and said, it is fine now. I have to leave you behind with your pain and your sorrows. I have to move on. But every time when we move on, we take our baggages and our pain with us. That's why brokenness will always be part of us if we don't address the root cause.
What's a practical way to address it?
so like of myself, you know, I've looked at myself as a life coach also. I said, you know, I didn't address this in my life. The anger, the bitterness, the pain. So the day when I met him, I felt like something was taken away from me. I became lighter. So let's not run away, Pastor, from who we are and our pain. We have to address and confront the pain.
What do you tell the person that's father is dead?
Mm.
Because I believe that that's a gift to be able to have went to him while he was alive and ask him, hey, why did you leave? What happened? Because that also answers things in your heart. Oh, okay, now I understand it's because of the end.
Yeah.
It kind of puts the puzzle together in your mind. Okay, I understand. I see how I met the guy. I see how he is.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes kind of sense in your mind.
No, let's come to the one when your father is not there anymore. So I was in Namibia some years ago. So there was an 80-year-old man. So I had an outreach of men and everything.
80.
80. And this man was crying, man. This Opa was crying. So I went to him, what is it? He said, no, I hate my father. I said, how old are you? So he said, 80. Now I'm thinking to myself, if he's 80, then how old will the father be? I said, but how old is your father? No, he's dead.
Long ago.
Long ago. So what we did at that moment, I said, now, so I spoke to him. I said, now, I'm going to stand in here in the gap of your father. So you have to address me now, like you will address your father, and tell him all the pain and all the things that are inside of you. So he started doing that. He started hitting me, you know, like, yeah, you were not there, like a baby. So I allowed that to happen. And after that, I embraced him, I hugged him. Bro, I hugged him, I said, my son, I'm sorry. So I started to say sorry on behalf of his dead father.
To bridge the gap.
Yeah, to bridge the gap. So after that, he said to me, we were sitting there, he said, you're the first person that have listened to my story and my anger and my pain. And I feel
so
like...
for 80 years, you was carrying that thing the whole time.
Yes. That's where, pastor, I'm talking to you as a pastor now. That's why the church is so critical in matters like this. You can't be my father on Sunday and be something else, pastor, on Monday, a stranger on Monday. We need to have programs in church where we address things like this. Because that's where our social ills are. You know, that's where gangsters will give up their guns and their drugs and everything if the church can really stand up and said, we are the father.
I actually want to ask you, how do you think, because in fact, before I get to the question of gangsterism, I want to ask you, because you wrote a lot of books and they are premised from the fatherlessness experience that you have, is what patterns did you see throughout your life and engaging with different people while writing this book that made you realize how deep this crisis is, how deep it actually is? Because fatherlessness is a crisis. Actually.
It's a crisis, and not in South Africa, or
globally.
And it started in the Bible, Larry. So one day I was at Leeuwkop prison, chatting to hardcore.
There's a mix.
Yes. I went to most of the prisons, hardcore prisoner. So this guy, he came up to me and said, you know, I'm in prison here for life. I killed my girlfriend and the girlfriend's brother because he said this to me and what. So I said to him, but how do you feel? Do you sleep at night? He said, no, I can't sleep. I see them. I said, have you asked for forgiveness from the parents? He said, no, they don't want to listen to me. And so, by the way, this is not the only people that I've killed. I'm here for the 2, but I've killed another 26. My father, they don't know about it. My father, like freeze, I did then, you know. But I said to myself, if I can show fear to this guy, who has opened up his heart, he's in prison, he can even kill me, man.
Because there's nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, because now, and he said to the others, what I'm saying here inside, let me just hear it outside. They will take you out one by one. And he said, I killed another 26. I said, my man, you have to make right. Do you know God? I'm a Muslim, he said. I said, yeah, I understand, but do you know God? You have to get that peace in your heart and start. Look, you're here for life, broer.
Je gaat niet uitkomen.
Je gaat niet uitkomen.
Klaar zo.
Haal hij goed uit. Dat gaat jou lichter maken. And I think that guy is a pastor now. In church.
They're in prison.
In prison. In prison. He converted and he's a pastor. Now he's
Yeah, you have a lot of interest.
hey, I get heavy good.
You have some
It's a
letters
disclaimer because others will manifest, bro, in front of you.
Yo, you
Because
have a
these
lot of
things are
interesting stories.
eating you up. So the pain is deep, Larry, coming back to you. Sometimes we sit, then I'll do some talks, ne? And then executives and everything, then an executive will come to me and say to me, yeah, man, I cannot get involved in your foundation. I said, why? Yeah, because if I donate anything to your foundation, they will find out that I've fathered another 5 kids outside my marriage.
So Owens are doing that in a stilte.
Yeah, hulle doen dit in die stilte. But I said, even in church, one pastor came to me. The pastor said, hey, prove your word that you did. Because I gave a powerful word that Sunday. He came to me and said, hey, I have to confess. When my daughter was 26, I fathered another child who's also 26. So outside the marriage. And that now, after you said that thing is eating me up, and I said to him, Pastor, you can't stand on the pulpit while you know. You have to correct, either step down or correct. And so, by the way, it was in Heidelberg. I said, this is a small town.
Die mensen weet.
Mensen weet.
Die mensen weet zeker.
Ek sê, jou vrou weet. Kom in die closet. Ja, en jou kinders weet. Ek beloof julle weet.
Because die mensen praat.
Community.
Die mensen praat.
Die mensen gaan jou klaarmaak, meneer. Je staan op daar. Hulle weet.
Hieronder hulle
You touched on an issue of,
Yes.
of gangsterism. I think this is arguably one of the biggest crises that we have.
Yeah.
Gangsterism, drugs, shooting.
Teenage
now,
pregnancies.
yes, but just on this issue now, because I see the country as a whole is dealing and focusing on the gangsterism, the drug addiction issue, especially on areas like the Cape Flats. And it happens everywhere else, but it's becoming a pandemic in the country. Maybe it's already a pandemic. And earlier you spoke on gangsterism and drugs and so forth. How does the absent father or the fatherlessness feed into that pandemic?
Larry, 99%.
Because you've had these conversations.
Yes,
with the actual
with them,
people.
yeah. Talk to the kids of gang leaders. They will tell you that what I'm doing is because I want to please my father. And also that brokenness. We need to come at a stage
The
as
father's the gangster now.
yeah. So the son will also become a gangster. The father was killed, as a leader of the gang. So the lady believed that I need to take out. Yeah, I need to get revenge. You see that pain. So I think we 4.9 million coloreds in South Africa, brown people. I think we need to stop and take it area by area. What's happening in Westbury? What's happening in Eden Park? What's happening in Eldos? Can't we move, Pastor Angus is having this million men march. Why don't we organize 1 million men or 100,000 men in Eldos that really can go house to house as fathers and find out,
Deal with the pandemic.
yes, let's get inside and find out what's happening in this house. Who stays in this house? Where is the brokenness? As a community, we have to stand up together. My book, daar's 'n brein in my sop. Ek sê ons moenie wag vir 'n ridder op 'n wit perd. Ons moenie wag vir 'n ridder op 'n swart perd. Ons moet ons eie breinperd ry. Niemand gaan ons 'n perd kom ry nie. Of daai twee gaan ons 'n perd ry tot hy moeg is, dan los hulle hom net daar. So ons moet ingaan en begin care, really. structures. Churches are very powerful. The Church of God, ek weet jy kan jou history doen, Martin Luther King en wie hulle. Die mense die move gebring. And I believe if we can get men to pray together and work together and forgive one another, kom ons bring die gangs by mekaar. Ek weet ek julle daai movie van the Mau Mau's, Nikki, that old movies, where we can really bring them together in peace. But we have to work out a strategy for that.
I was going to ask you, how does this crisis show up in the church, and what does this particular crisis, what does it say about the health of the church? As you're saying, the church is the most powerful platform or influencer. What does it say about the church's health?
A lot, I think, we don't want to criticize the church a lot because the church are doing a lot of great, good work. But we have to look at the root cause. Maybe we need to change the way we approach things as a church, the sermons that we are preaching. We have to look at saying, right, let all the churches in Elders, if we talk fatherlessness, let's come together. You had a convention, Larry. You have that anointing of putting and bringing people together. Let's bring the church together. Let's have that convention as a church. Before us pointing fingers that church is not doing this and that church is not doing that. Let's come together as a church and say, let's analyze the situation in El Dorado Park. Let's analyze the situation in Eden Park, Mitchell's Plain and everything. Where are we going wrong? Let's ask even the people, the Muslims and everyone, let's come. And firstly say, we are the concerned fathers of El Dorado Park. Muslim, Hindu, everyone that stays in here. Because when a bullet goes, it does not ask which religion are you from, or which church are you from. You just bury a child. So if we can get that, Larry, and get the political parties also together, Larry. All constituencies. All constituencies. I said, guys, hierso is nie van who's getting the glory. It's about how are we solving the problem. Even if you can start with one place, maybe Elders, Westbury, or Eden Park here. It can multiply. I said, nah, man, people in Elders will say, no, man, look what are the Bushes are doing, what the Bushes are doing in Elders. Let's do the same.
What does restoration look for in terms of now trying to find solutions to some of these things? What does restoration look for a man or father who wants to return home? We've started off with that kind of conversation.
Firstly, I will say to the father who left the house, why did you leave the house? Why did you leave? Hoekom het jy geloop? So maak eers reg daai hoekom het jy geloop? Make peace with it. Miskien het jy geloop omdat jy unemployed is. They look up to you. Miskien het jy geloop jy was 'n drug addict. Jy kan nie teruggaan stil as 'n drug addict. So first love yourself, first restore yourself, cleanse yourself as a father, and also let's have that men movements and everything in our areas where men can freely go to a men movement of the church, of a men movement that's there, and said, I need help.
Because there's actually a lot of focus on women, but and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not trying to compare the two, but there's such a low effort or small effort into making sure that we have steady.
And that's where the problem really is.
That's where the issue is.
But I wanna bring up this point, right? I know personally now, as I'm seated here, of 2 instances that I know of that's actively happening now.
Yeah.
Where there's a new wave happening in the world of this boss babe. I can do better by myself. Woman that has a child, independent. It's been made popular in the movies and in the songs. And I don't want a man. I can just get a child. I will raise this child on my own. And that you mustn't take for granted that it's been made very popular in mainstream media.
Yeah.
That the woman here's a child, and I will raise this child by myself. I don't need a man in my life. And then the two scenarios I'm talking about now,
You
it's
raise a
women,
broken
it's
child.
women like that that keep the children away from the father
fathers.
purposely.
Yeah.
I know two ouens now that is hof in and hof uit
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Subat. Laat ek at least net
Access tot my kind.
at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Even if it's what do you call this? Where they get supervised
Aye, so I
visits
see,
or
yeah,
eats. Give me
yeah.
eats. Laat ek my kind kom kyk. I know a friend of mine, right? That has to travel outside the city to go and see his child, right? And where he's crying, he's going to court. He's like, my bro, this woman is blocking me.
I
from
know,
seeing my child.
Pastor. We deal a lot with things like that. Yeah.
Because now that's not a guy's fault essentially,
Yeah.
because he's saying, hey, it's from a Christian perspective, get married first, do the thing the right way, blah 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 blah. So obviously, if you're making law scholars now, it kind of now, you put yourself in a position.
Control.
Yeah, you put yourself in a position now to have a child with someone you're not married to, and this, and now you're sitting in a situation. But be that as it may, it's still a father saying, why must I go to court? Why must I go family court? Why must I fight?
And if
Why
the
must
father wants to be.
the father wants
he wants to be
there.
present.
And then there's fathers that are saying, hey, my broer, ek stuur geld.
Yeah, yo.
Dan moet ek hoor, die anti-outfits gaan koop en sy was by 'n club op die
Exactly,
weekend en daai,
yeah.
ek het R2,000 gestuur of ek stuur R5,000 'n maand. As ek die kind sien, die kind het stukkende tekkies aan, die kind het die.
As die realiteit
So now whose fault is that now?
is 'n realiteit van die lewe wat ons kry, my broer. Maar ek sê vir moeders like that, né? Jy sal nie survive nie. Daai kind gaan terugkom na jou toe. Daai kind gaan jou kry op 'n vulnerable situation, né? Where that child will say, actually, as useless as my father, actually I prefer to be with him.
And it will break.
Yeah, it will break you, mother,
Because
because
there's
you
some
become
mothers
a
that-
gatekeeper.
There's some mothers that say, yeah, you look how useless is your father. Yeah, your father didn't
Yeah.
even send money this month. Yeah, your father, you have this broken tekkies because your
Yeah.
father. So now they're busy
Yeah.
besoedeling the kind se
Ja,
brein
ja.
teenoor die pa.
Teenoor die pa, ja. En tot hy kind eendag besef, my ma het vir my gelieg. My pa is nie so useless as wat sy sê nie. En kyk, money is not a father. Fathers must understand. I battle with a lot of unemployed fathers. I said, if you are unemployed, be relevant in the house. Al moet jy skoonmaak, meneer. Nee, speel daai rol en wees present in jou kind se lewe. Jy weet, al het jy 2 kinders van 2 verskillende vroues, be present, meneer. As jy nie het jy nie, maar daai kind moet weet om te sê, hey, my pa is hier. My pa het gehelp met huiswerk. My pa het gedoen met daai ding. And fatherlessness is not only the man, guys. Women are also the cause of this. Keeping away the fathers from the children. So mothers, soften up. Be honest with your children. And also allow your children to know who the father is. Sleg of nie sleg. Daar het ek my toppie gekry, meneer. Ek het nie my rug gedraai om te sê, nee, ja, kyk hier. And there's blessings. There's a blessing in everything.
So but that's the point I'm making. The scenario where these the ones must go fight now court cases.
Nee, maar die
Just
manne
to
moet
have
gehelp word.
2 minutes with a light.
But there's also, the courts are also standing up for the fathers now.
Now, yeah.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't like that
No,
before.
it was horrible in
It
the
was
past.
bad.
It was
if
bad.
the second they see it's a man and they take a woman's part same time. That no matter how good he is, no matter how much
who
he
you
sent,
are,
no matter
yeah.
how much tekkies he bought for the child, how much t-shirts he bought for that child, hey, jy is die slegte een, jy is die man.
En jy weet in 'n geval soos daai sal ek sê, hoekom ne begin julle ook nie 'n savings account vir die kind nie of investment vir die kind. And when that child is 21 and hy kind iets. Instead waar ons beklei vir ja, jy weet vir my kinders, wat is die Air Nike, wat doen julle die goede die tekkies? Dit gaan nie daaroor nie, want onthou die kind ontgroei daai goed.
En vinnig ook.
Vinnig.
As 'n yswyn die voete gou groei.
Dan lê hy tekkie.
Hy R5,000 se tekkies meer niks nou nie.
Dis hoekom ons moet leer van die Afrikaners. Vir die Afrikaners gaan dit nie oor geld, materiële goed. Nee, meneer. Hulle invest vir hulle kinders. En ons moet begin daar gaan. Is dit van fight? Say, you know what, ne? I need to pay R2,000 maintenance now for my child. And you, what? Let's get that joint account of that investment wat ons sê, elkeen van ons sit weg 100. Dat hy kan met 'n boost kan gaan. Ons het niks gehad toe ons groot word.
But you see that burden, I feel like a lot of youngsters see that as a burden. Fatherhood maybe is a burden. How do we shift? You've dealt with these things, over and over. How do we shift the mindset of these young men that they do not see fatherhood as a burden? How do we change their mindsets?
Larry, firstly, education is so key. Ne? If you regard that as a burden, hoekom druk jy jou pen en hy ink? Ons moet begin leer dat ons moet
give wat ek so example but yeah,
ons was geestelik. Ons moet ons moet die storie mos geestelik uitry.
Jy moet hom mooi maak.
Mooi maak. Hoekom druk jy hy pen en hy ink? No wil jy kom sê fatherhood is expensive, it is a burden.
Kimbies is dier.
Kimbies, hulle is dier, hulle raak al hoe dierder en dierder. As ek so met my boys die dinge as ek kietjie so, nee, die neppies, nee.
R400.
Is 400, 600, ons het die goed vir R50 gekoop. So dat beteken die dag wanneer julle is in die maak, is het R1000 vir die neppies. You have to look commercialized.
Raak vinnig.
Xavier, hy kan net besluit vanaand. Ek pie 10 keer.
Hy pie hy 10 net.
God.
R500.
How do we shove that mindset away from our youngsters?
Larry, education is so
see it
key.
not as a burden.
Education is so key, and I also think our curriculums in schools must be changed. Ons moet nie van Jan van Riebeeck leer nie. Ons moet leer about the basics of things, life skills, deeper. What is a boy, what is a girl? Die diepe goed, jy weet
But that now they even debating.
Ja, ons moet hy goed by die school level al. Jy weet, ons het kom experimenteer met meisies, jou eerste keer 15, 14, jy weet nie wat moet jy doen nie. Jy het gehoor jou bra sê, nee Sani, as hy sê, sy is nie lief vir jou, of sy is lief vir jou, dan moet sy dit bewys. Kijk hoeveel bewijse het ons nou. Wat rond.
Proof that you love me.
Yes, look how many
Look how
proof
they're
that
walking
you
around.
how they're walking around.
It's true.
Yes, yes. But it shows you that lack of education. And the Bible say, but my people are, yes. Ons moet terug gaan na die basics toe, guys. Sondagskoolklasse moet ook aangepas word.
So how are we going to heal this wound now, moving forward? Because we're getting towards the end of the show, and I just want to also be able to, for those who are watching, to really understand, we dealt with the issues of the damage. But it's also important for us to make people understand, or to open up that mind about how do we deal with the solutions? What is the solutions to the problem? How do we cure this generationally for the next generation that's going to come? So how do we heal that generational wound of fatherlessness?
Larry is a deep one, and it's coming, since the Bible also, Ishmael was also rejected by Abraham. And we're still looking for solutions. But as a nation, as praying mense, sal ons moet kyk, ons sal moet mekaar nader trek en die egos los. So like I said, get us that convention where we call all the leaders, all the pastors of Eersterus, Heidedal, Eldos, Eden Park, where we really sit together and look for solution. And don't come with, I'm Dr. Who, I'm Dr. Watney. Let's put it here.
Your titles aside.
Yeah, let's put titles aside. Let's look at the issues and we put it on the table. How do we restore the fight, the pain and the anger in El Dorado Park? Because every night you see people are going out to help at that corner and everything. So what solutions can El Dorado Park people come for El Dorado Park issues? Eden Park issues. Everywhere issues. Ons moet hy accountability and responsibility vat. Ons moet, Larry, because the wound is deep. Maar so sê iewers begin nie. You know, my kids ask me, Daddy, do you think really you'll save the world? I said, no, if I can save one person at a time,
You've done.
I've done.
Because if you look at it
Something.
in a big way like it looks overwhelming.
Yeah, it
It looks
is.
just how are we gonna save this whole,
Just-
100,000 fathers?
Jy sal depressed raak.
That's the fear.
That's the feel. Maar if we can do that impact, I don't know how far are you guys with that center that you want to build. You know, I had a chat with your father.
So, no, it's already up and running.
You know,
We
if we
paid
can,
it, it's there,
you
yeah.
see, if we can get centers
there.
of excellence like
Yeah, it's
that,
there.
every corner, every community. Ek beloof het jou, kan ons nie 'n buurtwag hê waar die manne sacrifice. Kom ons patrolleer. 10,000 men patrolleer die nag. Fathers of that community. And you know what? We know who are the perpetrators. Ons weet wie verkoop drugs, ons weet wie kill ons se kinders, maar ons bly stil. Daai dag gaan kom wat God gaan sê, you were there, Charley. Jy het 'n blind eye geturn. So I'm punishing you. So Larry, the solution is with us.
Talk to us about your foundation. You have a foundation, Growing Up Without a Father Foundation. What is the foundation? Take us through the foundation.
Larry, the foundation, you know, while I was preparing, I realized now we are 9 years old. So I gave up my corporate world, my corporate work and everything when the calling came. You know, I lost a lot of friends that were used to air conditioning offices and perks and everything. I said, God, wherever you lead me, I will follow. So we try to bring awareness at schools. We've done a lot in Eldos, all the areas, about children loving themselves. And also that trying to tell children that to be fatherless is not a handicap or disability. Jesus was also fatherless. But to find yourself and your purpose, it will take time. You know, I never thought that me growing up in the dusty streets of Smithfield and everywhere I will be in a position to influence people, you know, big name in the nation about fatherlessness. We have to, and our foundation is trying, we're also trying to also push the issue of the boy child. That's why you'll see boy child you matter. That's where the biggest problems are. Boy children feel they are not enough because bring a girl child to school, South Africa's programs is all about women and girls. Bring a boy child to school, women empowerment and everything, and forgetting, and we're leaving the boy child behind. So we're trying to bring that to the boy child that you can do it. Even if you stay in the Mukuku, you know, if you look at Bernard Parker's book, From a Shack to Destiny, Bernard Parker and his mother stayed in a shack. But he had a dream and said, one day when I make it professional, I'm going to take out my mother from that shack and buy her a house. So where you are now is not where you are supposed to be. Dream big and find yourself. This is what we are trying as a foundation to do. We're not getting funding from government. Some of friends and family are also sponsoring certain programs and say, we want you to go to that school. Can you get volunteers? Because I also train a lot of volunteers. Men, you know, to talk to our kids. And said, you know, let's help. Let's go talk to that school. And I try also to get role models. I said, you know, you make it. You are from this area. You make it. But did you plow back to this area of yours? So we are not a lost nation, Larry. But we have to stand up, like you guys are standing
we must
up.
use what we have and who we have.
Yes,
To
that's-
change the narrative.
To change the narrative.
Maybe- Yeah, maybe take us through some of the books and what is in so that people they know.
Okay.
Yeah, that you have because you're an author, an esteemed author.
Yes, Boy Child You Matter, you know, it's a essential guide to mentorship and hope for boy children. So
We just show it to the camera.
hey, camera, I forgot about you. So here, it's the impact of this book will have on boy children and future generations to come is very great because we try to get that out of the boy child to say that you can make it. You're not hopeless. You're not useless. The idea that you are born in a mukuku does not make you a mukuku. You stay in a garage. It does not make you a car. Find out who you are. This is what a boy, and manners, how you treat a girl and everything. And this is the main one. I think this one is well versed. Growing up without a father, are we a fatherless nation? We are a fatherless nation. And sometimes we are led by people that are in pain. Want hulle sê mos die Bybel, die olie loop oor op die baard van Aaron. So as dit veel olie is, dan val die olie op ons almal veel. Dis hoekom ons nie kan skoon raak nie.
Die olie is veel.
Die olie is veel. And from a shack to destiny, Bernard Parker, I helped Bernard Parker to score 6 goals that he needed for Kaizer Chiefs to become the all-time goal scorer because the mind. Die ding is 'n gevaarlike ding.
Power of the mind.
Power of the mind. So we change it. Through that, yeah.
Wow.
And this one, as he mannerized, guys, I think where's my other copy? I'm going to give you guys 1 copy each. Yeah, I interviewed 61 men in South Africa, from rich to poor, Venda to Kuruman and everything, on issues of men, the things that we are battling now. 61 men that I interviewed, and you see the pain and the challenges are the same from the 61 guys. I gave them the same questions, but everyone is addressing actually the same thing. And this one, it's to God be the glory. This is my journey with God, where God turned around everything in my life. Where I was asking a lot of questions, why am I like this and everything? And God said, with everything we do, you must give glory to me. So what I'm doing and what I'm achieving is not Charley, it's God. So I'm putting him first.
The journey of forgiveness.
Yes, hey, I talk about that. The journey of forgiveness, obedience, provision, and healing.
It's powerful.
Yes, these are powerful, eh?
Yeah, and Patemalan says, me diabetes. They rupom.
Yeah, you're calling it on yourself.
Yeah, and that
How many books have you authored?
10.
So how many, including these? These are 5.
Including that's a brain and me soap. I've written a book for MK, old man from the MK that went abroad. And exile. And when he came back, the ANC forgot about him. I wrote his book. I'm just trying. I'm even forgetting about this book. Yeah.
You wrote so many books, you forgot.
The book that I'm working on now is Fearless, Fatherless. That if you can take that fear out of you, you can achieve everything.
So in essence, there's a lot of fear that stems in fatherlessness.
Yeah.
Like when you went to approach your father, look for him, there was fear inside of you.
There is.
And
What if I kill this guy? I even make a documentary on fatherlessness.
Is it available? Or you busy with it?
I think it's done, but it's more on CDs and everything, so I have to put it now.
You must load it onto YouTube. I'm sure
Bits, yeah.
yes,
I'll do bits of it, yeah, because it's a very extensive one. So
how long is the whole documentary? More than 2 hours?
I think it's more than 2 hours, yeah.
Now people will watch it.
No.
This is a deep, this is a issue.
I had Zayn Mias in the thing there. I have Jerry Mufokeng, Uncle Jerry. Uncle Jerry also grew up without a father. He met only his father, or heard about his father when he was in his 50s.
So you can become successful even though that happened to you.
Yeah, because you're not your father and your father is not you. You need to find your purpose. Look how successful was Jesus. Ons praat nou nog van hom.
What message do you want every father that is listening to the show to take into his own in closing?
I want to first start with the stepfathers that we were talking about. A lot of people underestimate the power of a stepfather, and I want to salute the stepfathers for, it's not easy to raise somebody else's child. Because if the fathers that are fathering kids, because of the less money of allow stepfathers to step in, to be part of their children. This is so wrong. And to the fathers now, also honor fathers that are really taking care of their children, taking care of their families, no matter what the situation is, Larry. And I also want to say to the fatherless, the fathers that ran away from their children, come back. Come correct, because most of my things with the foundation, we found that most of the fathers are calling their children on their deathbed. They can't die. Hulle moet reg maak. I wanted to say something very controversial, but it will kill me. They don't find closure. Jy sal restless wees vir daai sad wat jy geplant het of weggegooi het. Wat jy nie weet waar is dit nie. So to fathers now, there's a lot in our hands as fathers. You know, I said here, as a man arise, it is possible to the power of lifting one another up. We made mistakes. We are human. But please, don't be afraid to say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Not a child is not a mistake. I made a mistake to run away from my responsibility.
Sure. Thank you.
We must lift each other's hands up.
Yes.
Mekaar se hande.
Ons moet mekaar se hande opvlig.
Daai manne wat voel hulle kan nie wen nie of
Ja,
hulle weghol of.
Dis die boek. Dis hoekom ek moet vir julle ek gaan vir jou een gee pastor en vir jou
Dankie.
een leer. Dan gaan jy sien om te sê the power of lifting one another up. You
Where
see,
can people buy the book if those who want to buy?
look up on social media. We courier these things, and also there's a website of the foundation, www.growingupwithoutafather.org.
Thank you, sir.
But the pleasure. But most of them are coming through because I'm self-publishing. They will get it from me.
Yeah, so then
Yes,
you
through
just
social
courier.
media. Yes, we courier it.
Mr. Pietersen, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you,
Larry, thanks
Pastor.
for coming.
I know Larry struggled to get this appointment together because he's a busy man.
Yeah.
I'm also
trying to
busy,
get
yeah.
get it together for the past couple of weeks.
Yes, guys.
But we've managed to pull it off today.
And thank you so much, and keep it up and keep lifting us up. Don't get tired, gentlemen. This is a long road, and you've got the energy, because the devil wants you to get fatigued and get tired because the course is big.
It's big, yeah. And if you look at it in entirety, it's overwhelming. But you have to.
Yeah, and so by the way, this ons land ons moet nog beplan hoe vat ons om terug. As die brainvolk, yeah.
Thank you so much. You're going to start a different conversation.
Ah,
You're going to
it's
get very
closing.
excited.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you,
for coming.
Larry.
Look, it has been, it did take
Yeah.
us a couple of weeks. I think this is a very important conversation, and that is why I pursued it and we made
Thank
an
you.
effort,
Yeah.
because this is a pandemic.
It is.
Especially in our communities, the brown communities. And it is up to us to change the narrative, to change the story. And like you said, in my closing that I want to give is, ons moet mekaar se hande oplig. As jou hande, as jy moeg raak,
Iemand moet dit
you
kan.
must come and support each
Yes.
other. And let us lift men up, because there is a campaign against men, whether we want to talk about it
It's
or
a
not.
worldly
There's a campaign against men
Yeah.
that, is destroying manhood, and we need manhood. We need
Sorry, Larry, but I know you are closing down. There's a book, written, How to Destroy a Man. Written by a woman, How to Destroy a Man. Easy. So as ons nie saam staan nie en mekaar help, gaan ons net.
Drop like flies.
Yeah.
And this is not about superiority, that men feel they are superior. I don't think there's any sentiment.
No,
This
no.
is about role,
Mm.
and the fact that we have, as men, we have a role to play in
Yes,
society, and we
yes.
need to protect that role.
Amen.
So once again, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you, Larry.
Let us continue to lift each other up.
Thank you so much,
and
guys.
make it happen.
And now the homework, we're waiting for that convention
Yes.
where you pull us all together.
Yes. We're gonna work together.
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
foundation.
yes.
In the church.
Yes, in the church, yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
En ek dink kom ons begin in Eldos.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. See you on the next one. Love you. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Imagine if you have your vision as the car with the right team. Imagine how quick that vision will come into the footsteps. Something that was taking 5 years takes 3 months.
This morning is all about leadership and influence.